Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. I'm so excited to finally be back with you guys. I know it's been over a month and a half since I've really been able to get a video out to you, but this one was so important. I figured I needed to stop, drop, and get this video recorded to get this information to you. Thanks for those that have held on and so I could come back to you. It's been super busy summer. Like, so many people have wanted to move here to Northeast Florida, whether it be Jacksonville, St. Augustine, St. Johns County, and purchase a home. So I have been incredibly busy just getting everyone into their new homes, and it has truly been a blessing and a privilege to help so many families. But I'm sorry I've been away from you guys, but good news, I have some latest information on the area, especially when it comes to new construction, I want you to be aware of. So be sure to watch this video all the way to the end. I'm going to give you all the tips and things that you need to avoid when it comes to new construction right here in Northeast Florida, so stay tuned. Let's jump right into it. Let's go ahead and unpack some of the mistakes that I want you to avoid when it comes to new construction. Now, again, just because I'm going over some negative things, I don't want you to think that I think new construction is a bad option. I think new construction is one of the best options in this current market, especially if you can get a new construction opportunity that suits your needs and your budget, that offer rate buy down or closing costs. Especially with new construction, you oftentimes have way better home insurance ratings as far as quotes, that most of my customers pay no more than $80 to $100 a month tops for their new construction homes, and that's up to 4,000 square feet. You oftentimes get, of course, the builder warranty, where you get a full warranty from door to door for a full year, a 2-year electrical, and then a 10-year structural. So I'm very much a fan of new construction for those plethora of reasons. Okay, so but there are some things when it comes to new construction that are, if you don't go about it the right way, could land you in a very interesting predicament, to say the least. Okay, now these are some of the things that I've recently encountered that I just want you to just be aware of, top of mind. Okay, first thing, guys, right off bat is a mistake. Number one mistake to avoid is to go under contract with a builder before having two things: a pre-approval and a cash to close. Okay, I'll explain what you know what a pre-approval is, but a cash to close. So basically, with some of the builders right now, they're offering all these incentives, blah 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 blah. But the catch-22 is you have to use either a lender that they're in partnership with, or one of their preferred lender, or their mortgage company. So some of these builders, they're so large, they've actually built out their own mortgage company within their company. So they're able to offer those incentives because they're getting money from the profits of the sale of the home and from giving you a mortgage. Okay, but the stipulations are, to get the special interest rate, you have to use their mortgage company. Okay, so key thing is that mortgage company that you're using, their particular mortgage company, will have special stipulations as far as what your credit needs to be and what your income to debt ratio needs to be to get that particular interest rate. Okay, if you don't meet the requirements, you won't get that particular interest rate. Only way they can tell that is by pulling your credit. But what most builders have in their contract is like, hey, no harm, no foul, come over here, write the contract, we'll sign everything, get you going, and then we can worry about getting you pre-approved later. Bad idea. Let me tell you why that's a bad idea. Because once they get you on the contract, right, and that involves you having to pay a deposit, put some money down at the time of contract, and signatures, you're now in a legally binding contract with that builder. And builder contracts are always written in favor of the builder. Okay, now you're under contract, and let's just say they say, whoa, according to our requirements, your credit or your income or your debt doesn't work for our special program, so sorry, we won't be able to give you that special interest rate, but we can qualify you. Your payment will just be maybe $300 to $400 more than we expected. And you're like, well, I'm not comfortable with paying $300 to $400 more than what we talked about. Like, I'm not comfortable with that. Well, they're saying, well, based on your credit and your income to debt ratio, this is the best we can do for you, but it shows that you can still afford it. Well, what you can afford and what you're willing to pay may be two different things. So, but according to that builder's contract, if it shows that you can afford that payment, guess what? You legally are still in that contract. So if you say, well, hey, I'm not comfortable with paying an extra $300 to $400, I thought I was going to get the special rate that we talked about, guess what? You're in breach of that contract. So now that money that you put down, they don't have to give it back to you. So if it was $10,000, they don't have to give it back to you. I just had this situation with a customer where I literally had to fight to get their $10,000 back, or go to management to escalate the situation, because I knew of this situation. And I told the lender to run my customer's credit, to approve everything, to make sure that my customer could qualify for this special interest rate program. And the lender was like, oh, yeah, we're good. Well, he did not tell he lied, basically. And I had to go to management and escalate the situation and tell that I got involved early on to ensure that this didn't happen. And the lender was not telling a true story as far as putting forth the effort to pull my customer's credit ahead of time before we went under contract after he said he did. So the situation got resolved, but if I hadn't got involved, that situation would have gotten very ugly on behalf of my customer. Granted, we worked everything out. We got them the special rate, we got management involved, and we got everything ironed out. Which brings me... Now, I hope you're enjoying this information so far, but let me take a moment to introduce myself. My name is Shearwater Francis, aka Francis for short. Thanks again for being here. I am a Florida licensed real estate agent. So I'm licensed throughout the state of Florida, but specializing mostly here in Northeast Florida, which includes Amelia Island, Fernandina, Jacksonville, St. Augustine, St. Johns County, Ponte Vedra, and the surrounding areas. Now, I've lived here for over 20 years. I actually finished grad school here, had the opportunity to serve locally as an educator here for more than 13 years, and work for builders. So I'm able to provide a lot of local insight and information, especially when it comes to new construction, that you will need to know to avoid some pitfalls and hurdles and can keep you from losing money along the way, okay? So don't hesitate to reach out. I wanna make sure that you get paired up with the right home in the right price at the right budget for you. So don't hesitate to reach out. I want to be a resource and make sure you have the information to make an informed decision. This is a big decision with a lot of money, guys, and I want to make sure I'm here for you throughout. So don't hesitate to reach out. Now let's jump back over to some mistakes to avoid when it comes to new construction. The next thing I talked about, which is the cash to close, okay? Another thing that you want to have is that if the lender does their job ahead of time before going into contract, they will pull your credit and make sure your income to debt ratio is fine, and they should be able to give you what we call a cash to close. That will show you your monthly estimated payment. Now, some of them will do it all janky. You want to tell them, I want to see my estimated payment, including my insurance, them estimating your taxes. They can only estimate your taxes. Estimating your taxes with your principal and interest, okay? And any CDD or HOA fees. So that way you can see before you go under contract, you're comfortable with the estimated payment that they can, as far as with the interest rate that they think they can give you based on your credit score, right? And all the taxes, fees, and everything involved, what that monthly payment will look like. Because the last thing you want is to fall in love with the house and realize the payment is way beyond what you're comfortable with, okay? So that's where you're gonna ask for cash to close from the lender. They should be able to give you an estimate of the monthly payment and how much money that they estimate that you'll have to bring to closing, say, minus the incentives. Normally the form looks really complicated, and you have to have somebody that knows what they're doing to explain it to you. I've seen so many, I can explain it to you normally, but the lender is supposed to be able to explain to you what that monthly payment is, and based on their incentives, what you're actually gonna pay, okay? So 2 things, pre-approval, cash to close. All right, that is a must, especially if you're going with a builder based on their incentive programs, okay? Now, another thing, guys, which brings up, and not to toot our own horn, but definitely a mistake to avoid is working with an actual agent that knows new construction and knows the builders in the area where you're looking to buy new construction. Now, I have some of my colleagues that are amazing when it comes to historic homes and waterfront properties, but they couldn't tell you 3 builders to save their life. If you had a gun to their head, they couldn't name 3 builders in this area because they don't do new construction. They don't. They just don't do it. And new construction is a totally different beast. The contracts are different. Timelines are different. The expectations are different. How you get an inspection are different. Just everything is different when it comes to resale, saying that buying a historic home versus buying an Airbnb property versus buying new construction. You need to work with someone that specializes in the thing that you're looking for, so they can help you kind of weed through the minutia. Because sometimes, you know, depending on the situation, and I love my fellow site agents that work for builders, but sometimes they're under pressure. Sometimes they will tell you whatever you need to hear to move forward, and sometimes it's not the utmost truth, okay? So working with an agent that actually specializes in new construction in the area where you're looking is of the paramount, because especially if you've never bought new construction in the area where you're looking, there's going to be things you just don't know. Like we talked about in the first video, like just because a builder has a big, good national reputation doesn't mean their local reputation is good. It's a builder right now that I will not name on camera, that they're known for being, you know, woo-wah-wah, okay? I'll just use those terms, not to say their slogan. And there's a whole Facebook group of people just ragging them that have bought their homes and how their homes are leaking, how they have mold issues, how they have water intrusion issues. And in fact, locally, because I want you to think about builders almost like franchises, okay? Each part of the country, different builder divisions are ran different, their staff different, their building codes are different. And it's sometimes, guys, some of the things that I've learned about builders here in this area have come from me learning the hard way of walking customers through the experience, or me walking through the experience. I personally have had my money taken by a builder myself, and some of these things I've learned the hard way. All right, now let's jump into some of the other mistakes that come with new construction that I want you to avoid.
Now let's have a scenic commercial break checking out some local new construction models. Now, who doesn't love a beautiful model home? But there are some things that you should know as you're walking through these beautiful models.
Another thing when it comes to new construction that I want to help you to avoid is making sure you clearly distinguish between what is included versus what is an upgrade. So many of the things that you see here, from this tile, a fireplace, to even this custom shelving here, is oftentimes not included and not even something that you could get in the design studio. So even this carpentry trim work you see here on the stairwell, that's another example that though people see this, they think automatically it will be included. And it kind of definitely adds dimension and texture to this room. But oftentimes those things are not even an available option for you to get in design studio, but something you would have to get after you close. Okay, so let's go ahead and unpack some of the other things when it comes to new construction that I want you to be sure to avoid.
One of the best pieces of advice I could give you concerning new construction to avoid is to not be deceived by the model home. Oftentimes the model homes have over $300,000 worth of upgrades, some which you can't even get in the design studio. So you want to ask the builder to walk through one of their nearly completed homes or inventory homes so you can get a better view of what you'll actually be getting. If you're finding this video helpful, please do me a favor and push like, and don't forget to subscribe.
Information so far. So another thing I want you to just be aware of is that one of the pitfalls that I've learned the hard way is double checking that builder's quality assurance process and their warranty process. Because just because a home is new does not mean it's going to be perfect. Oftentimes new construction homes still have little hiccups because there's 120 vendors that have come together to build your home, and there's going to be things, whether it be nail pops, whether it be there's a shortage in the water heater, or whether the dishwasher breaks, whatever. Okay, stuff happens. It's a new house. The things have to settle. You know, once the house settles and somebody's living in the house, running of water and appliances and electricity, sometimes, you know, because everything has been newly installed, things popped up. But if that builder doesn't have a strong quality assurance process where they've double checked that home and kind of ran everything before you moved in, as well as a strong warranty process where they're able to actually get to you and actually care that you have something wrong with the product that they've actually given to you, it can be very difficult and very costly. There's a few builders in our area that don't warranty their own home. They build a home and then they send you somewhere else for someone else to warranty your home. Meaning that within that first year where they're supposed to cover anything that goes up, because they're the ones that just built the home, they send you to call some 800 number. I would caution you against those builders, okay? Now, last thing, guys, now you probably have heard about the new lawsuit that has come out with the department, with NAR and the Department of Justice, and the new where you have to have exclusive buyer agreement to engage with working with a buyer's agent or real estate agent to represent you on the buyer side of the transaction. The good news is that 97% of our builders in this area are still offering compensation to a buyer's agent, your real estate agent, to walk you through the new home construction process. However, they only pay your buyer's agent out of the marketing budget. So meaning that we have to be the reason that you walk in the door, okay? So with that, with us having to be the reason that you walk in the door, if you go into the model home without your agent, or don't let them know that you have an agent, that you automatically cancel out your ability to have the builder pay that agent's compensation to represent you, okay? So that's why it's really important that they pay us. We have to be the introduction of business. Either we be the one that send you there to say, hey, my customer's on the way. I'm wrapping up a meeting. They're just coming by to stop by the model home. I'll be by, to check on them shortly, or to be with you in the company as you go talk to the builders about information or going to tour the model homes. Now, some of them have it where we have to either be with you, or we have to show up within 24 hours of you being at the model. So if not, that means if you want someone to make sure you're signing the right kind of contracts, that you don't get taken advantage of, that we walk you through the process, that means you would have to pay the agent their compensation, because the builder is not going to pay it because they weren't the reason you walked in the door, or you didn't give notice from the time you walked in that you had an agent, okay? So just keep that in mind. And then the other thing is that I want you to just be mindful. A lot of people are like, well, I bought many homes. I've done it, plenty of times. But having a third party that's neutral, I can't tell you how many times I've kept my customers from just foolishness. So one thing that happened, we were at the final walkthrough with this builder that's really good and reputable, has a great quality assurance process, really attentive to customers, but one of their employees made a mistake. They tell my customer, this is how you set your sprinkler system. I'm going to set your sprinkler system to come on every day, blah, 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 but don't touch it. Once you move in, leave it where I have set it and don't touch it. My customer's water bill the next month was over $700. My customer was furious, like, why is my water bill $700? Well, because they followed the instruction the builder told them to do, which is not touch the sprinkler system and to leave it. Well, the builder was saying, oh, I didn't say that, blah, blah, blah. And you know who had the recording, right? Me. I had the recording. So guess what? They had to pay my customer's water bill. So again, something as simple as that, guys, save my customer money. I can't tell you how many times I've either saved my customers money or got them out of a legal situation that could have gotten really escalated, even if it's just from the simple thing of me going to the builder that I've done a lot of deals with and say, hey, we need to make this right. I've brought you guys a lot of customers, a lot of business. Let's not fall out of business grace over something simple. Can you please just make this right? And guess what? They say, you know what, we don't want to burn a bridge. So let's do what we can to make this right. So I hope this just gives you kind of an overview of just some mistakes to avoid when it comes to new construction. I can't tell you enough, just when you're dealing with major corporations and they have contracts written in their favor, to have someone on your side to guide you through the process, it only helps, especially someone that actually has done it with those particular builders before, okay, and has relationships and connections with that builder to ensure that if things do go wrong, they have connections to pull from to make sure you have a good experience, okay? I'm here to help. I'm here to walk you through the process. Don't hesitate to reach out, especially if you're looking at new construction. Don't hesitate to give me a call, all right? I'm here to be a resource and guide as your Florida real estate agent. All right, guys, stay tuned. I have another video for you, and I promise I won't stay away as long as I did before. This is Frances signing off, your Florida real estate agent.
Now, there are a few other resources I want you to be sure to check out. You want to be sure to go to your phone or computer, tap on the video tab at the top, and you'll pull up our full catalog of videos on more information on new construction in this area. Stay tuned, and thanks for being here.